So that 189,000 ounce gain that we added there was also a very efficient gain. So it was about $12 Australian per ounce on an all-in basis. So obviously quite a compelling return on investment, and obviously we're excited to keep growing that a little bit at that hopefully a similar cost per ounce.
Hello, welcome to the Assay TV. We're here today with Alex Scanlon, Chief Executive Officer of Barton Gold. And yeah, great to have you here, Alex. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Do you want to start by talking us through your latest minerals resource update?
Yeah, thank you very much. The latest news for us is that we've increased our Tunkillia asset resource by about 189,000 ounces. So we've increased the deposit to depth by about 50 to 150 meters in three key extension targets. It's a very strong validation of our exploration thesis for that asset. We've increased total tonnage by about 45%. We've increased the total metal inventory by about 20%. And so that 189,000 ounce gain that we added there was also a very efficient gain. So it was about $12 Australian per ounce on an all-in basis. So obviously quite a compelling return on investment, and obviously we're excited to keep growing that a little bit at that hopefully a similar cost per ounce.
Great, and what does that kind of pathway for growth look like for you guys?
So that Tunkillia asset is essentially the anchor for our longer term phase 2 development objectives, and that is a production target of about 150,000 ounces per annum. When we think about that, that's sort of where we stand today, that's sort of 5 years out. And so between today with 0 ounces production and a target for 5 years of 150,000 ounces, we actually want to have a sort of a staged development. And that's where some of our other assets, our Tunkillia assets, including a fully permitted mining lease, our central Gawler mill, which is a fully permitted mill. The objective is to continue to grow scale towards the longer term, but then to be able to create a staged development where we're bringing forward some stage 1 operations with higher grade ounces, and we go from producing 0 to 50,000 ounces per annum, and then use that as a basis to grow into the bigger picture. So we'll continue to grow both of those assets in tandem during the balance of the year.
Great. And can you talk to us a little bit about what makes the project unique?
Yeah, look, probably the number one thing would be the platform. We are unusual in that we do have a mill. It's a recently operating mill. So it's not something where we need to do a really major workover program to restart that operation. As explorers go, we're really much more on the end of sort of an advanced asset manager. That platform we monetize. So we have actually generated over $5 million in net additional cash that we have expanded our treasury with since we IPO'd in 2021. So we raised $15 million in June of 2021. We had a 24-month, $15 million budget. We are 21 months down the road and we still have $8.3 million. So that's a pretty unique proposition. We have a very strong board and management ownership alignment with the balance of the register. So there's that very strong principal agent alignment, utilizing and sort of monetizing an asset platform. And so it's that combination of platform, performance, growth, and really a pathway, I think, to delivering a real mining outcome without having to rely on a third party.
Yeah, great. And I understand that you're the only project in the region?
There are some other projects around us. We were sort of the, what would you call, like the first mover in a 130-year-old gold district, right? Yeah. So this is an area where you had South Australia's gold rush in the late 1800s at the same time as Western Australia. That happened on our mining lease. Fast forward 100 years. You had a small open pit that was mined on one of our mining leases, and then you also had the Challenger high-grade underground gold mine, which we also actually own, but we're just not focused on that. So this area has been producing high-grade gold for 130 years. It's just that really since the end of the 1990s, when the gold price declined considerably, there's been no sort of modern systematic exploration. So we've come in and we've consolidated substantially the majority of every significant historical producing and exploration asset. We're reconsolidating that. We're leading the region to open, but other people have been there and have come in around us. And so our objective really is to kind of re-energize the region and provide that sort of catalyst and that sort of critical mass for other people to also confidently invest. So we've got other people around us that are doing that work. One of our close neighbors, Indiana Resources, has some very interesting stuff. down a shear zone, which is to the east of our Tunkillia asset. So, the hope is that we will continue to sort of open up something much broader, as sort of a regional sector, rather than just, only the mines that we're operating.
Okay, great. So can you talk us through the asset monetization and how you're actually generating your capital?
Yeah, so in addition to being an explorer, right, our mandate is to grow resources because our mandate is to develop a large-scale operating platform. We started with a large-scale platform. So we acquired not only a mill as sort of the anchor, the strategy anchor around this sort of stage development pathway, but we also acquired a mining village. We acquired multiple mining villages, real estate, airstrips, and these types of things. So we are actually able to sort of systematically monetize these assets. In some cases, it's just disposing of spare equipment that we will never need for our strategy. In other cases, we actually lease out our camps to third parties operating in the region, both private and government. And then for a bit of fun, we actually also sell gold. So last year, we did a clean out of our gold room. We recovered about 545 ounces of gold. So we sold about $1.5 million worth of gold last year and this year. And in December of this year, December of 2022, we started looking at optimizing the gravity circuit on our central Gawler mill. And in doing that, we actually took down and disassembled some of the key components of the gravity structure. And we actually realized there was about 10 tons of gold-bearing concentrates actually in the gravity circuit between the concentrator and the cyclones to the concentrator to the gold room. So we've taken that material out. We'll clean that up and sell it as well. And no idea at this moment what that contains, but it's always nice to generate a few $1 million in gold when you're an explorer.
I can imagine, amazing. And earlier you mentioned, you're kind of staging your development pathway over the next 5 years. Just looking towards the end of 2023, the end of this year. What does that hold for you?
Yeah, look, we have been extremely busy in the time up till now. This resource update reflects a very intensive 9-month work program going backwards. We've just put out this resource update. We are not going to slow down. We're actually kind of doubling down on and sort of leaning into that momentum. During the balance of 2023, we're going to test further extensions of that 223 deposit, see if we can grow that further. Around it, we have also found 3 new gold zones. We're going to see if we can convert some of those into JORC resource. And then we're also testing some of our highest priority targets in the region as well. And then that is to sort of further build up that stage 2 platform. If we sort of swing the camera lens back to the stage 1 perspective, we are going to be targeting some of our highest priority targets for shallow, high-grade repeats of that high-grade mine that we have. So the idea is we hope we come to the end of 2023 saying, look, we bought these assets, we grew them, then we IPO'd them, and we grew them, and we grew them, and we grew them again. So we think they're going to keep growing, and now let's start thinking about how we actually get to that stage 1 operation, start thinking about development.
Amazing. Well, it sounds like you've got some really exciting things lined up. And thanks so much for your time. Thanks for joining us. It was great to have you.
Thank you.